Thank you, Maury. Great to have you back again. My name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel as always. And today is June the 7th. It's Monday. It's very hot here. It's 90 outside. And it says it feels like around 98. And that is why our guests are wearing their summer attire. Let's go say hi to Maury Rutsch. And Spoon Phillips is back again. How you doing, guys?
Very good. Thanks for having us.
See, Spoon is ready for the beach, and Maury's got his shorts on, I think. Let me see here. Oh, that's not even Maury, that's me.
Just believe it.
Maury, I've lost you. I can't have you on the screen. Oh, because I locked it again. 1 second. I promise you I'm professional here. And you don't want me. There we go. Oh, you've got a bit of a tan there too. On your legs.
Sunburn.
And I just realized Spoon Phillips is still muted. I think we should bring him in. Or should we just leave it like this? You like this? You prefer this? All right, Spoon, we can hear you now. Sorry.
Excellent.
I caught a tan too. I have a tan as well.
It is a very mild 89.5 degrees here in hazy Brooklyn.
Yeah, I
got my shade, Spoon.
I saw your shirt, Spoon, and I thought, where's he? Hawaii or somewhere? But now I wish I was wearing that because I'm sweating here. Oh, well, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. And so what happened was, Maury, last week, Spoon was here, and we kind of went into a custom shop design for me, just kind of random. It wasn't planned, and it was really, really fun. So what I did was I put out on social media, can the viewers send me their designs? And then this week we'll go through what they would build for a custom Martin from the Martin website. And Spoon and Maury have both also provided one as well. We've got about 7 to go through today. And what I'd like to do is share it with the viewers, have their comments in the chat, and also get Spoon and Maury to give feedback on what they think of their choices. Does that sound good to you guys?
That's sure. A lot of fun. And I want to give my feedback on your last week's show. I did watch the replay, and I was really, really impressed. That was a great show.
Thank you. But you weren't here. It was just me and Spoon. What are you saying?
I don't know if there's a pattern there, if it's a complete coincidence, but it was a great show, and I wasn't there, and I'll just leave it at that.
Before we begin, let's go to the chat. Say hi to our friends. Olds is here. Says, hi, Aaron and Maury from hot upstate New York. Everywhere's hot today. Whew. Roeth says, watching from Cleveland. Excited to see what custom Martins folks have dreamed up. Yeah, me too. Jack Wickwire is still in Southern Maryland. He's still there. Colin is in sunny Dorset, UK. Skip Russell's back from the beach just in time, getting the sand out of his toes there. Patsy Smith in sunny Suffolk. Old says, me too, Roeth. Not enough choices to do my custom. Would love to be able to do a 00015 SM, but all Ovencoal. What is a 00015 SM, Spoon? What does that stand for?
It's a 12 fret. The S stands for the standard body size, the 12 fret, what I used to call a peanut shaped body size. So it's the 12 fret. Style 15 M stands for mahogany. So I guess it would have to be a 00015 SO if you're going to go with all Ovencoal. So.
Very cool. Like we said last week, and perhaps Maury can give us more info on this. While the custom shop design website is very good, it doesn't have all of the options at the moment. Spoon was saying they might be adding those in the future. And Maury, what's your take on that? Obviously, if someone wants to order a custom and they're in the USA, they want to call you and you talk them through it. But what are your thoughts on that custom builder on the website? Do you think people should be using that or calling you direct? What do you think?
Well, I think like you guys mentioned on last week's show, it's a really good starting point. You don't have to go through it too very long to recognize it's missing some features, but it depends on where our customer is in the process. If they know, for example, they want a D28 with these 3 things different, they can contact us and we can double check with them that they're making sound choices, no pun intended. Once we do that, we go to our rep and make sure we always invite him to say, hey, our customer would like this D28 with these changes. If you could think of something that we might have overlooked and that sort of thing, that's one way to go, and you wouldn't need the custom configurator on Martin's website at all. But if you're in the stages of researching, or if you're not entirely sure what you would like, maybe you've narrowed it down to, I know I want a D28 and I think I want 5 things different, but you want to begin there. As long as you recognize going to Martin's website is a work in progress. I mean, let's be honest, almost everyone's website is always changing for the better. That configurator is not complete, and you're not going to see every single situation that you could dream of, but it is a very, very good starting point, and in some cases, it might actually bring to light some ideas you might not have thought about, or you might not have thought Martin will let you play with. So it's a good place to start. The only fear that I would have, anybody watching this program, don't think that what they show you there is the only thing they offer. There are more options, and you guys made some good references to that last week.
Yeah, this is kind of part 2, so if you missed last week's episode, then go back and watch that later on. And also, we did an episode with the custom shop as well, right? So we've got a few videos on custom shop designs. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think that the Martin, they've done a great job, but it could definitely be better. And on a practical note, the guitar that I designed last week with Spoon wasn't truly represented in the final graphic. Like the top wasn't right, and there was a few things that weren't, the cutaway wasn't there. So as a customer, I'd like to see the actual end result before I then call a dealer. So I do hope they do some work on that, but I think it's a good place to start, like you said. That's cool. Okay. Jim is in a very hot Vermont. Marco says, hi, Aaron and Maury from, is it Struga? I'm so bad with names. Struga on Ohrid Lake in North Macedonia. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong.
Ooh.
That sounds very nice.
Wow.
Lee is here as always. Good to see you, Lee. Hello, everyone, and welcome back, Maury. Rosanna, hello, Aaron and Maury, and everyone in the chat. Happy Monday. Patsy Smith liked the tones on that guitar. So Maury has a couple of customs in stock, and he's going to show those to us today as well and explain the choices he made with those. Olds, W30, that would be a very interesting sound. Perhaps you could use the 0028 VS as a base model and change the woods. Yeah, good idea, Roeth. He says that would be pretty expensive. Now, all the prices on today's guitars are going to be pretty up there, so one thing I want to do today is ask Spoon and Maury what their favorite custom designs are from the viewers' designs, and I'm also going to figure out who spent the most money on their custom design.
If you're going to dream big.
I did say your dream guitar, right? Spoon is wearing his homeward bound Hawaiian attire.
This actually, I had a really favorite silk shirt that I would wear to Martin Fest, where invariably it would be over 100 degrees almost every day when you're outside for hours. And it accidentally got lost by a former roommate, and who threw out what he thought was a bunch of stuff to be thrown out. And I don't know if Maury remembers it, but he threw out all of my Aloha shirts, basically every short sleeve button down shirt that were all getting ready to go to a dry clean. And so I actually had people, even fans I didn't know, sent me shirts in the mail. But I saw this online, and I thought it was the same pattern, black with orchids on it, and it's not at all remotely the same. It's not silk or anything, but it's certainly great for this kind of weather. So I'm happy to have it.
Martin should make a Hawaiian shirt. That'd be cool.
They have in the past. They have done that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Chris Martin likes to wear them.
Yeah. I just booked a tentatively booked the accommodation for Summer NAMM. So the plan is I'm going, but I'm still waiting to see. And of course, Nashville, yeah, well that, and I'm still working on getting my pass as well. They're quite hard to get this year. But Nashville is going to be really hot as always, isn't it? So I got to get ready for that. Ugh, so hot down there. Looking forward to it though. Colin says that's a colossal shirt, Spoon. Colossal.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you.
Thomas Moore says hi everybody. And Bill's here. Spoon! Hey fellas, looking forward to the show. Watching from rainy Ohio. Sorry to hear you got rain there, Bill. And Bimo says give us a thumbs up. Yes, please give us a thumbs up and send this link to your friends that like acoustic guitars. We'd appreciate the help. Rosanna says hello Spoon, happy Monday. And Becca's here. Hey guys!
Hey Becca.
All right, shall we get started with the design? Because that's what today is all about. So I'm going to switch over to the other screen and I'll show you the first email I received. I want to thank everyone that took the time to go on that website and design the guitar and send it to me. I really, really appreciate the time you took to do that, and we had a great reception here. So I'm going to switch over to viewers' comments here. This is the first guitar. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit and I'll read it out as well in case you're watching on a cell phone with a very small screen. This one came from Jack Wickwire. Okay, so let me go through the specs and then I'll ask Spoon and Maury to tell me what they think, both as a Martin guitar fan and as professionals in designing guitars, if you like. So this is a 14 fret custom 00 grand concert body. It's got 14 frets clear of the body. The base model is based on is a 0018 style. It's using that vintage hide glue that we spoke about last week. It's right-handed, no cutaway, no electronics. The strings are authentic acoustic lifespan 2.0. The top is Sitka spruce. It's got the VTS. X-brace back purfling is style 18. No top pearl. Rosette style is old style 18. Pickguard material is none. So there's no pickguard in this guitar. Very interesting. We'll talk about that. Bridge material is black ebony. Bridge style is the modern belly. The bridge inlay is none. The end pins are ebony. Back and sides material is zinc and mahogany. We'll talk about that as well. Wedge material, none. Headstock is solid. Headplate material is East Indian rosewood. The decal is the old style gold. There's no inlay on the headplate. There's no stamp. Tuning machines are the Grover nickel 18:1 vintage button tuners. The fingerboard material is black ebony. The fingerboard inlay is old style 18. The top is aging toner. And the strap button is none. The custom label is none. So what do you think, Spoon, of those specs, first of all?
Good job, Jack. Got some of my favorite things on there. One thing I would point out is that the current configurator doesn't show you what things were customized. So somebody who does not familiar with the current standard series style 18 wouldn't know from looking at that what Jack changed. And what I see that Jack changed was the Sinker mahogany and the VTS Sitka top, and he has ebony pins with blue PowerShell, New Zealand PowerShell dots that do not show up in the photo, unfortunately. But I think everything else on here looks standard. So I don't know if Jack could pipe in. I know there's some delay when people type, but I think that, and the high glue, and the configuration currently, I think, automatically gives you the thin finish when you order high glue, which does not show here until at the very end when it says, since you chose thin finish, we recommend getting relic tuners, but he didn't go with the relic tuners. So yeah, it's very similar to the custom that I submitted. So.
So Jack said, I don't use a pick, and 12th fret was not an option. Maury,
and then you have the no pick guard too. So
Maury, we haven't spoke that much about Sinker mahogany. What is it, and what's good about it?
Well, it's literally mahogany that's just been underwater for a long time, and our friend Spoon knows Mike longer than I do. Mike Dickinson came to Martin Fest one year. And I don't remember if it was Sinker, but he basically showed us his custom Martin that he built, and he actually found the log that was the neck, the log that was the top. He stood on the log that was the back and sides. Sinker mahogany has a definite romanticism to it, like a lot of people have heard, especially over the past 5 or 6 years, for whatever reason. That's a really highly desired wood. It's supposed to definitely impact the tonal properties and the molecular properties. It certainly does separate regular mahogany from Sinker mahogany in real ways. It's not a fad. It's not hype. Exactly what it does, I really couldn't speak about it, except that people that really know and have discerning ears could hear the difference between Sinker and whatever traditional mahogany or
it's not just about wet. Yeah, it's not just about it being underwater. This is mahogany that is seriously old growth. It was cut in either the late 1800s or the early 20th century, and on the way to the timber mill in Belize, it sank. And it's possible that the logs just got trapped underneath and then sank, or it's possible these were extraordinarily dense logs. But the biggest thing is that they believe these are between, at the time the trees were cut, between like 300 and 600 years old. And that doesn't exist anymore. So this is truly old growth, possibly pre-Columbian in some instances. And so, and it definitely makes a difference in, and how much of the being underwater for years impacts that, I don't know. Mike's hinted that it's a hot thing right now, like Maury had said, that there's some suspects out there who might just take a log and throw it in a pond for a month and then say, we found some sinker mahogany. So it's not just about being underwater, it's the fact that it's really old wood. And there's some sinker Brazilian rosewood out there that actually came from docks in Lake Superior, or like water breaks or whatever that people rescued and rehabilitated and dried out and actually used to build guitars. And it's black as ink. I've seen a couple of them. The rosewood changes color, and the sinker mahogany changes color too. You get this kind of really interesting copper banding that's different than typical mahogany. So that's on my list too. I want to have my next custom built out of sinker mahogany.
I'd never heard of it, and then a few years ago when I started going to Summer NAMM, George Gruen was ordering loads of guitars with it. So I thought that was just something he was doing. But is this obviously available to anyone, right?
George heard it and saw it, and he went to Martin and said, I want to buy all of that. He bought just paid them up front for an enormous amount of sets. And so he continues to have his customs made specifically for his shop. And they're, his D18s and are highly regarded, and they're basically what we would have called a D18 golden era. But though they may have the thin finish on them as well, but and hide glue, but they're made out of sinker mahogany and Adirondack spruce.
So Maury, have you ever had any sinker mahogany guitars through your store?
We didn't, and as I'm embarrassed to say, once we finally caught wind of how cool that was, we had reached out to Martin. I want to get down on it too, and they're like, too late. All the stuff we have is gone. It's going to come back in cycles. And we when that popularity really hit the top of the curve, and we asked for it, they were all but spoken for. And then, frankly, by the time it kind of dipped back down again, and we could get some, we tried to test the waters and put some feelers out there, and it seemed to have lulled a little bit. So we, for better or worse, when we could get some, we sort of tapped the brakes thinking maybe this isn't going to last, and of course it did come back up a little bit. But I think there's a good video out there somewhere of Vince Gill and Gruen guitars, and I can't remember if he bought a bunch for friends or if he bought a bunch for himself. But if anybody still hasn't seen enough Martin content on the web after this, I think you want to YouTube Vince Gill Sinker Gruens, and I if I'm remembering right, I think there's some good videos out there. But I think it's a really neat idea.
I think anyone that's watching a live stream about Martin guitars at 4 o'clock on a Monday in 90-degree heat is most likely going to be surfing the web tonight for guitars and videos as well.
Good point. Really good point.
Okay, so yeah, I'd have to try it. Like I said, I've never actually played one, but interesting that you added it to the custom, and obviously you can request that as a custom build, right? If you order a custom, you can request sinker mahogany. So that's good. All right, that's great.
You may have to wait for it, but yeah.
Well, you have to wait for everything these days, right? So, oh dear. All right, let's go back over to there again. So thank you, Jack. Really appreciate it. It looks good too. I have to say the guitars without the pick guards look very nice. And like he said, he doesn't use a pick, so that makes sense. Some people say the pick guard affects the tone because it kind of restricts the top a little bit. So I never tried that experiment, but I can see that could happen. All right, thank you, Jack. I'll give you a round of applause for that one. And the price of that is a mere $5,600. So I'm going to see who has the most champagne tastes of our viewers. Now, moving on to Roeth's, he just said in the chat that his is quite similar. So I'll read through this one and we'll see how similar it is. It's a bit more expensive, this one. Let's see why. I'm just going to zoom in because I know some people are watching on cell phones and things. That's better. Okay, so custom 00 grand concert body this time. 0018 style, and the high glue again. So the high glue is popular. Right-handed, no cutaway, no electronics. I'm also learning here about what the viewers like with pickups and things like that. This is good research for me. Authentic acoustic strings. This is the Italian Alpine Spruce. So when I'm done, I'll ask Spoon to talk about that and why you might choose that. This is X-Brace Style 18, Old Style 18 Black Maple Fiber Rosette. It's got the tortoise, the faux tortoise pick guard on this one. Because I think he started using a pick recently, he just said. The bridge is black ebony. The pins are black with white dots. The back and sides is single mahogany again. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Ooh. I'll pretend that was on purpose, even though it wasn't. Thank you, Apple Mouse. Wedge material, done. Headstock, solid. East Indian rosewood head plate. Old style. There's some similarities here, right? The head plate decal, old style gold. Grover nickel, vintage button. Black ebony fingerboard. Diamonds and squares, long fingerboard inlay. The top is clear. Top color, clear. Strap button, none. Case 3-ply hard shell with the dome top. And no custom labels. So there are some similarities here. Like I said, Spoon, what are your thoughts on this Italian Alpine Spruce for the top wood?
Well, Rowett is a finger stylist and has a delicate touch. I think it would be a really good fit for a mahogany 00. To my ear, Italian Alpine Spruce is kind of a cross between Engelmann and Adirondack, and you have a chime to it that you kind of get, kind of a steely chime you get similar to Adirondack, but it has much more of a warm glow body resonance that's more like Engelmann, except you get it right up front. Engelmann takes some years to really start to develop that what I call the pastel background warmth. I don't particularly like it for big strumming, hard, flat, picky stuff. I like the definition you get out of Adirondack, and Carpathian is probably the closest you're going to get to my ear from Europe. Might recommend to Roeth to think about getting the Swiss high altitude moon spruce, which might be a little more. Basically, we're all talking about the same species. They used to call it German spruce because in the 60s and 70s, it was coming from German dealers, but that didn't mean the wood actually came from Germany. And most of it probably came from Switzerland and Italy. But same species, different microclimates, and high altitude. It's all high altitude. That's kind of a marketing thing. It's all coming from pretty high up. But the moon spruce in Switzerland is traditionally harvested during the full moon or the new moon. I don't remember which. But the gravity is supposed to actually, the changing gravity is supposed to actually affect the moisture content, mineral content of the wood, which is why they traditionally would cut to make the Stradivarius violins. All that stuff was famously all cut with moon spruce. And my friend Lawrence Joubert said that he felt when he first tried it on a custom, he felt like it added, like it was kind of natural.
Name drop. Lawrence Joubert is my friend.
Okay, it's natural. He called it natural VTS. It said it's supposed to add years to the breaking, or take away years from the breaking in process. Huh. So I've never owned anything that's, I've only seen it here and there for a few minutes here and there, so I wouldn't say. But he liked it so much that his next custom was also made with the. He was an Adirondack man his whole life, and he now prefers the high altitude Swiss spruce.
I just want to say hello to 01 watching from Germany. Thanks for joining us. And just to catch up on the chat, Jack said, I don't use a pick. That's why there's no pick guards. That totally makes sense. Olds is drooling over custom Martins. Control yourself, Olds. 12 threat was not an option for Jack on the site. Remember, some options are not there. You have to call your dealer. Rowan says, me neither. I wanted a fingerstyle machine. I do prefer 14th fret. And Lee said, oh no, sorry, it was Lee, not Rowan said this. I never used a pick until I started watching Aaron and Maury shows. I guess he watched Maury and I strumming those G chords and those D chords so much that he started using a pick as well, right?
Something very satisfying about a nice full strum.
Ricardo, hi. Authentic D18. Oh, hang on. I'm going to save that for as a question. Before we move on, Maury, what do you think of Rohith's creation?
I think it's cool. I'm really intrigued about the different spruces. I'm a dealer that's been selling guitars since '03, and almost everything that comes through here, certainly the production models and even custom shop, is Sitka or Adirondack or VTS Sitka, VTS Adirondack. On occasion, maybe something different, but when you talk about these alternate tone woods on the top, I get intrigued because for whatever reason, I bet you in all the years I've been a dealer, I've seen less than 5 tops that were not the same Sitka, the same Adirondack. So I'm always all ears when Spoon talks about it, because the times I hear this stuff in person are really random chance encounters at Martin Fest where you walk next to the right room that somebody's playing something in.
Maury, do you remember the M they made for George Martin?
The M3M?
Yeah. I almost bought one of those.
Yeah, the M3M. That was mahogany with Italian spruce, and that's the first time I heard that combination. It was like, wow, this actually is really lovely. So I could see if you're a light fingerstyle player and you're not beating the heck out of a guitar like I do, it would, it definitely gives a fullness and a warmth that's different than you get from Sitka.
So less headroom, you think?
Yeah, it definitely has less headroom. It's like, I would say it's got more headroom than Engelmann, but I would say Engelmann sounds very pretty, but it doesn't really overdrive. When you go really attack it, you don't get that big roar that you get out of Sitka, or Adirondack. And I would put Italian kind of in between the two.
That's another guitar that got away from me. I saw one when I was looking for an M36 a few years ago. They had a used George Martin at a guitar center somewhere that was like mint for a very fair price, and I didn't buy it. And that's the kind of guitar that I believe will be worth a lot of money in the future, because the whole George Martin connection, right? I bet it's a good guitar too. Did you ever play one of those?
They're lovely. Because I played them at the factory when they. When I played at the factory when they came out, and it was, it was a summer. I'm pretty sure it was a summer model, so I think a lot of people at Martin Fest that year, because they would happen almost at the same time as Summer NAMM, so they would set the new models out in the lobby for anybody who was coming through on the tours and stuff to play.
Yeah.
Good
choice, Roth.
Okay, let's take a break from that. Let's go to Maury. Maury, tell us what these guitars. So you've got 2 guitars today. So these are custom guitars that you've spec'd out for your store, right?
That's correct. The one I'm playing right now is what we affectionately would nickname a J28 Adirondack. But now Martin's nomenclature, they don't want dealers naming guitars that have a name too similar to a production model. So this is basically, we built this out of an OM28. And we asked the custom shop to take an OM28 guitar, make it into a jumbo size, put an Adirondack VTS top on it, and leave the bracing nice and fragile, that really thin 1/4-inch scallop bracing that is needed to make a little 0028 or OM28 really come alive. It really doesn't have to be that fragile on this guitar, but we left it on there to make it just a cannon. And it really has a bigger bass response and a bigger surround sound quality. So technically this is a style 28 size jumbo, and it might look like it has more in common with the J40. So sort of going backwards towards who might buy this. If you like the J40 but you don't like all that pearl, or you like an OM28 but you want more bass, this is if you cross a J40 with an OM28 and lose the pearl expense. But while we were at it, this guitar's got the VTS Adirondack. We also made another one of these that's got VTS Sitka, and our good friend Philip Watson owns that one. So that goes to show you, at the same time, he could have bought this one or that one, and the Sitka version made him happier. So it's an interesting. If you would have asked me which one of these might sell first, I wouldn't automatically have thought the Sitka. But this guitar, besides maybe the D18 Authentic aged, this is certainly one of the 2 most powerful instruments we have in here. What I mean by that is the effort you put into it and how it comes out without the need for working very hard. this guitar is just extremely responsive. It's not just for playing as hard as you can and being the loudest one in the room, which I want to be when I can. It also feels that way when you're not playing it hard, so you don't have to push as hard to get fingerstyle to jump out of it, even if you're playing pretty reserved and then you take a lead break, or when you want to be loud on this, it takes no effort at all. So it's pretty neat, and we're going to be stocking more of this kind of thing in here, because until now, without doing something like this, the J40 is the only way to get into a jumbo body in the Martin lineup, aside from making other customs on your own. And we thought there was a hole in the lineup that made this relevant. So that's kind of our idea, making an OM28 even beefier was the idea.
Can you give it a strum for us?
Absolutely.
Well, I didn't literally mean a strum, I meant like a song. I like that guitar. I'm genuinely surprised that didn't sell immediately, because a kind of, not a dreadnought, but a medium-sized guitar with Addy and big projection. For me, that's kind of like the goal for most guitars. I'm surprised that didn't go immediately. So if you're interested, give Maury a call. All right, let's get back to where we were. Thanks for that. And we've got one more custom from Maury to show you later on. But let me get back to our custom designs. I just want to catch up with the chat because I don't want to miss anyone's comments. So, Ricardo, I'll save your question for later. Actually, no, let's do it now because I'll forget. Ricardo says, authentic D18 or Addy Sinker custom with Golden Era bracing. What would you get, Spoon Phillips? Oh, hang on, you're muted from that previous. All right, take two. What would you get, Spoon Phillips?
Harumph. Yeah, I would not get the authentic because I can't play V-necks anymore. They hurt my hands too much. So I would have to get a custom. And I've never played one of the Grunes, but I'd certainly like to, they have V-necks too, but I would like to play one before I ordered something like that to make sure it's really tickled my ears the way I think it might.
Authentic D18 or the Addy Sinker custom with Golden. So are they kind of similar guitars, Maury?
I would say kind of similar. I wouldn't say that somebody who loves one would be able to walk into a store and have a can't lose situation. You can certainly make the argument they're not so similar that they're redundant. I don't. I know it's bad radio if we both agree all the time, Spoon. But I'm the same way with the authentics I've seen in the store. Those necks haven't really been very comfortable for me. I don't know that they're deal breakers, but I think if that question was posed slightly differently, where the neck wasn't to be affected, I would choose that or the authentic right away. But it's worth noting, if you looked at Martin's lineup and what you pay for and what you get, some viewers might see authentic as the pinnacle, and that's the best, and that's the most expensive, the most. If you could have anything you want, get authentic. It's not always fair to say that that's going to be everyone's best sound, and it's certainly viable to expect that another custom could. I think how you play and what you're going to be doing with it impacts your choice. And because of the neck, I would vote against the authentic. But that's the only thing. That might be the only thing that would ever stop me from trying an authentic.
Well, this brings up a point that goes to something Aaron said earlier about the fact that not every option is available through that customizer. The D18 Authentic 1939 has rear shifted scallop bracing, and the standard series, basically everything has forward shifted bracing nowadays, and in a dreadnought or larger size, and the GPCs have it as well. But the rear shifted bracing is even closer to the bridge plate than what had been the standard bracing before they reimagined everything and brought it all forward. So it gives you a very distinct, defined base that you don't get from forward shifted bracing, which gives you a boomier, more wallowy kind of bass sound. So that's something I hope they will. I'm sure it's available. I'm sure you can order it. You just can't do it through the customizer. So that's something to think of. If you like the sound of forward shifted bracing, then the Authentic may not be the best choice for you. But if you can live with the rear shifted sound and the more the less echoey bass, and kind of puts the bass up into the strings and makes them big and round, but you don't get that wallowy boom that so many of us like from forward shifted bracing.
I played the Authentic D18 at NAMM last year, and I was really impressed by the sound, but it always comes back to those necks, doesn't it? From what I see, there's so few people that like those big tree trunk necks. So I wish they'd bring back what was that series they had a few years ago? Marquee. I wish they'd make more guitars like the Marquee, you know?
That's kind of what the standard series is now. The only difference is you just have to order Adirondack. I mean, that's the only thing.
Custom.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we are heading down the road, based on what Kit Culpepper has told me, that the future of Martin, maybe the post-Chris stepping down Martin, may have those kind of options. We may be heading toward a time where it doesn't have to say custom on it. Maybe it could be a D28 special because you changed the top or because you changed the neck, and you're not like Maury remembers. Just in the old days, they used to let you change depending on what there were. You could change up to 2 or 3 things depending on what it was. One of them was the nut width, and still get the D28 stamp on the guitar.
Yeah, I'd like that.
That was a brief window when that happened, and maybe someday, maybe they would just add an A to this. In Chris's grandfather's day, they just added an S for special, and if you change the top wood, maybe, or something like that, maybe they change it to A to mean you got one with an Adirondack top, or something like that.
I would love like an OM28 standard, but with an Addy top, without the year-long wait as a custom order. That would be great.
Indeed.
The good thing and bad thing is that right now the customs aren't a lot longer than production models, but it's not because customs are fast. It's because all of them are slow now. So.
But my only concern as a customer is once I call you up and make that custom order for the OM28 with the Addy top, that is my guitar, right? Whereas if I buy a standard series and it really doesn't work out, I can exchange it for something else. When you commit to a custom order, that guitar is your guitar. So there's definitely, undeniably there's a little bit of risk there, isn't there? I don't know how many people watching this show has ever ordered a custom and it's not worked out. I mean, that's another episode, maybe a bit depressing, but that must be something that runs through people's minds. Like, it's one thing buying online without playing the guitar in person, not hearing because Maury plays them on the channel. It's one thing buying without playing the guitar, but ordering a custom. I mean, how has that been for you, Spoon? You've had custom guitars come through. Have you been nervous or had any experiences with that kind of feeling?
Only the very first one I ever got was the only one I didn't bond with, and on paper it was everything I wanted. It was an MC18 with an Adirondack top. They even made a custom neck for me from my old OM28 VR, which was abnormally low. When I brought it to the first time I brought it to the factory, they couldn't believe it got out of final inspection because it was so out of spec for being a V-neck. But it worked really well with my sore hands. And they did, and that's one caveat when it comes to getting a custom neck, is they will make their template out of it and they'll try to make it exactly like it, but it's not going to be exactly like your favorite neck. But anyway, I guess for whatever reason, I never really bonded with it. And I had other guitars that I liked, mahogany guitars, my own 18V that I had at the time and stuff. But I did end up selling it to a shop in England for an enormous amount of money, so I actually made a profit on it today.
Oh, wow.
But,
nice.
Okay, Maury, I'm ready to order. Because if I don't like it, I can make a profit on the thing. Let's go.
You just got to go to England.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring any sadness to the program, but one of my dearest friends from college actually called me up and ordered a really cool D18 with Tree of Life on the fingerboard, style 45, gorgeous instrument, and he said, I want the widest neck Martin will give you. And we talked about it, and I said, are you sure you want the widest? And he said, yeah. And to make the long story bearable now, it's not like we just did anything on a whim, but he was convinced he wanted something very, very wide. Took delivery of it, and he really isn't getting along with it. He can play it, but he's going to put it up for sale now because it's just not comfortable for him, and he's going to look at an alternative.
1 7/8.
1 7/8, and then 2 1/4. And the shame of it is it's probably just slightly too wide for him. It's not that he made this big mistake.
That's interesting because usually 2 1/4. It's usually 2 5/16. So the strings wouldn't be too wide for most people.
But it's the neck that he's having a hard time liking,
Or they're even 2 3/8 sometimes in the old guitars.
This is my concern. In the chat, if you've ordered a custom Martin, let us know what your experience was with it, because that's always going to be my concern. I've made it quite clear on here. I'm very indecisive, so if I order a custom today from Maury, in 12 months' time, I probably want something else. That's the first problem. And second of all, I'm nervous that, what are they going to give me? Like I don't know. There's a slight risk. There's a slight gamble there, isn't there? And of course, if you can sell it on for what you paid for it, like Spoon did, well, that's great. But what if you can't? I don't know. There's everything in life has an upside and a downside, and that's obviously a downside to ordering something like that.
Well, that's a second lesson. I think you have to be aware of what you're doing. And Maury pointed out, talk to your dealer. Talk to your dealer.
Call Maury.
Say, this is what we're doing. And
so you can blame him if it doesn't work.
No, but ask him to talk to the custom shop and stuff and see where the caveats are, because people, supposedly you're not going to want to have a resale value on your custom Martin.
Right.
But if you're going to have the zoo animals from Fruit Stripe gum inlaid on the fingerboard, you have to be pretty sure that you're going to want to have this guitar.
That's awesome. I'll write that down.
But I do know a couple people who love 1 7/8 inch necks, so I will pass the information along. So.
I had a story. Just quickly, I knew someone that ordered like the Dream. When I saw about Dream guitar, they went for all those specs that you would on paper say are the ideal Martin guitar, and they got it and they just didn't like it. Like specs. That's the other thing, isn't it? Specs don't always mean everything. It's tough. We talk on here every week about what is a great guitar. Sometimes it's hard to know what makes a great guitar. So I was kidding when I said blame Maury, but yeah, the more you can ask your friends and their experience and the dealer and even Martin, but even then, wood is wood, and there's always a risk with any guitar, isn't there? Well,
and all of my custom Martins, I second guessed a few things, and when I came down to the one that used to be for sale as a quasi signature model at Maury's Music, I had really kind of figured out the process of the steps really are what you think you want, and then asking why do you want it, and then doing the research to make sure it's going to give you what you think it's going to give you. And that's where the custom shop guys can come in and say, well, actually, from our experience, and that top size, that bracing and that top size doesn't give you what you just said you wanted to hear. You really want to go with this, and that's that kind of research and education is important when it comes to sound. You have to make sure your combination of woods and bracing and finish and whatever else is really going to give you this. Why do you want to change a guitar in the first place? Why not just buy the stock one and find out, really know what your whys are, and make sure it's not just your imagination, and that cuts down tremendously on regret.
That's probably the best advice we've had for the whole show. Like, why do you want to make a custom? What is it? Make sure you know why you wouldn't be happy with the standard one. What do you actually want to change? Don't just make a bunch of changes because you read it in a forum somewhere that it might work out. So that's
Not
good
just that,
advice.
but what Spoon said earlier in this program, where this configurator doesn't show you what you made custom, you might have people that accidentally build something that Martin already makes. So if you don't know the lineup that well, you want to definitely talk
Good
to
point.
a dealer who does, because you could actually start from the ground up, build the perfect guitar, and it's a D18, with different tuners. And hey, just buy a D18 and put tuners on it. And I'm not making any assumptions that some people know nothing about the lineup, but you might be building the perfect guitar that you don't have to build.
Well, people knock the OMJM, but essentially the OMJM is kind of a custom shop, isn't it? In a way,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the nice thing about the signature models. Is a lot of the artist signature models was once a very conservative Martin company under Fred Martin. It was the first time some of these guys got to do cool things like mixing woods together. People who actually worked at Martin got to mix, interesting woods together and got to do interesting inlay and stuff like that they would have never, and traditionalists didn't have to. You don't like it, you don't have to buy it. But for other people, it gave them an opportunity. I mean, I bought Pat Donahoe's guitar not because I like Pat Donahoe, because I loved the guitar, because I really liked his specs. But the neck was a little too wide for me, so I ended up having a custom made based on it and sold his to a guy down in North Carolina who was very happy with it.
Yeah. And remember, this is all a journey. I mean, I don't want to think of how many guitars I've been through in my life so far. All right, let's go back to viewers' comments. So, next up, we got the one and only Bob Dobson. Here we go.
Yeah.
He's ordered a special commemorative Werewolves of London guitar. All right, I'll go through the specs and you can tell me what you think. This is the most expensive so far, $7,750 with 40 cents. I don't know where they get the 40 cents from, but anyway, triple OM body. So these are all small body guitars. Interesting. 14 frets clear of the body. OM28 style, modern adhesive. So different glue on this one. This is right-handed, no cutaway. And this is great. I'm learning. We don't like cutaways. Most of us are right-handed. We like smaller body guitars. We don't like pickups in our guitars. This is actually really great market research for me and my channel. I love this. The top is Addy, which I think is cool. X-brace, got the HD zigzag back purfling. No top pearl. Style 45 rosette. It's got the tortoise pickguard. No pickguard inlay. Bridge materials black ebony. Bridge is modern belly. Bridge inlay is alternate torch. Bridge end pins are ebony. Back and sides is Sinker mahogany. What's with this Sinker mahogany? Do people like to know something that I don't? Everyone's gone for Sinker mahogany. I never even played this. Well, I played it a few years ago, but I didn't really understand what it was or why I might like it. Now I need to play it again. Sinker mahogany seems really in fashion. Headplate decal, none. He's gone for the slotted headstock, which we discussed last week. I'm not personally a fan of, but it does look vintage, and some say it affects the tone in a positive way. The headplate material is also Sinker mahogany. Oh, very nice. No decal, CFM block headplate inlay, no stamp. Tuning machines are the Grover Gold, so gold tuning machines. Black ebony fingerboard material. Style 45 snowflake inlay on the fingerboard. Aging toner. A gold strap button. Molded hardshell case. And a custom label. He wants the name, plus he wants Chris Martin's signature. Very nice. Very cool. All right, we're just going to pop over here and take a look at Spoon's cat. There we go. And then I shall go back again and ask you what you think of this. So I can't believe how many people are choosing Sinker mahogany. This is something that I need to look into now. I think all three guitars had Sinker mahogany, right? Well, I guess if you're going for mahogany, you might, and you're doing a custom, you might go for Sinker mahogany. Maybe that's why it is, right?
Yeah, I think people, you wanted people to kind of dream big, so
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
I think it's gorgeous. I think you have the 1902 style torch on top that was designed for 12 frets. I actually really like the 1920s, 1930s style torch, which is not quite so fancy.
Looks nice.
But when it's mixed with this style 45 fingerboard, you have the two I can't see from here. Those are the big snowflakes on the bridge. Can you zoom that in?
The bridge is, what did they say? Hang on, let me zoom in.
Markers on the bridge. Are those the big round snowflakes? Or are those something fancier? Those are even fancier. Those are like little torches on the bridge.
Torch, yeah.
Yeah, those two round snowflakes that you see on the OM42 came from the 1930 OM45 Deluxe, and then they also put them on the 1932 OM45. But this is even fancier, so that's really cool. That looks gorgeous.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I would like that.
Gold hardware, yeah.
I would like that with the regular headstock. It's got that rosette that I like around the sound hole. Yeah, very cool. I'm going to move straight on to Spoon Phillips.
Uh-oh.
Let's see what Spoon Phillips would do. 000 OM, another small body guitar. We've got lots of fingerstyle players here. 14 fret, 000 18 style again. Got the high blue, right-handed. We got a cutaway this time. Again, the website doesn't reflect that, but this would have a cutaway. So first cutaway guitar so far. This is 8,000. This might be the most expensive guitar so far. He's gone for the Fishman or a VT Enhance. Very interesting.
That's why it's so expensive.
Our first, and Maury, I didn't realize this. If you order a custom with the VT Enhance, they send the guitar to Fishman to have the images made at Fishman. I think that's really cool. I like that idea a lot. I love that.
They have to, or it won't match up.
Yeah, I love that idea. I'd love to think that Fishman had the guitar and made the images and put them in there. I think that'd be such a cool thing to do. I would definitely do that. Strings, Authentic Acoustic 2.0. The top is that high altitude Swiss that Spoon's been talking about a lot. The bracing is X-Brace, style 18. Rosette is old style 18, black maple fiber. Tortoise pickguard on this one. The bridge is black ebony, modern belly. Sinker mahogany, 4 in a row? What's going on here? Wow, I think George Groon is watching. Headplate headplate material is East Indian rosewood, old style gold tuners, Waverly gold tuning machines, black ebony, diamonds and squares on the fingerboard. The top is clear, not vintage toner. That's interesting. Strap button is gold. So Spoon, why did you choose these specs? And how close is this to the custom that you already have?
And this is interesting. I forgot they don't tell you. I actually got rosewood binding on it too, but that wasn't listed on the sheet. To go along with the wood fiber inlays. Well, it has the same fretboard. It has the same diamonds and squares. My vintage style 21 has a herringbone rosette. I thought about getting the same rosette. That's not in the specs, so that they would both have the same rosette. My Guatemalan rosewood custom, the TSP model, has larger than normal sound hole, but I don't think I would go for that on this one. And I would probably go with my low profile that I like so much, then that's not in there as well. So the big difference is this is high altitude moon spruce from Europe and Sinker mahogany instead of Adirondack spruce and Guatemalan rosewood.
Just tell us about that enlarged sound hole. Is that something that you would advise people to get or not that are designing a custom? What are your thoughts on the enlarged sound hole?
Well, I've been an OM player my whole life. I love the sound of OMs. That's what I really love. My hands have a hard time with the longer scale. The short scale definitely is better for me now. But the short scale, you do not get the same power out of them. You don't get the same volume. They're plenty loud, but I remember being in a living room with somebody and who had the Madagascar rosewood Lord Juber model, Adirondack spruce OM. I had a custom short scale, which is basically a short scale version of that guitar. And the difference between the same person playing that across the room on the sofa was remarkable in terms of how much projection and volume that the short scale and long scale difference made. So I've always been trying to play around with how can I get that from a short scale guitar. One is I have 1/4 inch OM bracing, which is on a 000 or an OM. the on style 18, and so that comes with that automatically with that guitar. The other is the larger sound hole gives you more volume and more projection, but what it does do is it reduces bass response a little bit, I found. And they say that the cutaways do that too a little bit, and I think the combination is a little. I like now my guitar's broken in after a couple of years. It's got it's plenty big enough, and when you plug it in, of course, you can have all the bass you want. So I'm not that concerned. What I might do with this is go the opposite and have the smaller sound hole. This is something that I'm having a senior moment. What's his name? Old time, one of the most famous old time players that plays with Tony Rice a lot. That had 2 signature models. Maury, help me with this. It's a 14 fret triple O body with a 12 fret neck. What's his name? Norman Blake. The Norman Blake guitars have a double O size sound hole on a triple O size body, because he felt that would give him a change in projection and increase bass response. So I'd be tempted to maybe try that.
So over the years, there's been the standard sound hole size, the enlarged sound hole size, and a reduced size. How many sizes of sound hole have there been?
Well, depends on the body size. The 14 fret O has a smaller sound hole than the double O, which has a smaller sound hole than the triple O. And then I think the triple O and the Dreadnought have the same size sound hole, if I remember correctly. It's not very different, but it's a tiny bit as you go. Like the difference between the sound hole and O and an OM is more noticeable than the difference between a double O and a triple O.
Hey, Maury, how big is your hole?
Mine started as a regular sound hole, and it's getting to be a large sound hole, but
it's almost as big as your pie hole.
It's that big. It's square now. It's like a missing tooth. It's like if this guitar played hockey.
And that's true. The original large sound hole Martins were inspired by Tony Rice's OM28 that he inherited from Clarence White, which was an OM28 that had gotten beat up like Maury's. They think. Nobody knows for sure. There's even rumors that it had a bullet hole, but usually if you're going to have a bullet hole, it probably have one in the back on the other side of it too.
Cool story.
And somebody broke it out to make it a larger sound hole. And that's where that came from originally.
All right, I got to keep things moving because we're only halfway through. Let me go back to viewers' comments. Going to get rid of this one. Thank you, Spoon Phillips. Here's Lee from the UK. I'm going to guess it's some kind of OM42 because that's what he's been lusting after for a while. $12,000! He's the winner so far. Let's see what he's done to possibly make this $12,000, shall we? So, it's a custom triple O OM, another small body guitar. So we're all fans of the small body Martins here so far. 14 fret OM42 style, vintage hide glue, right-handed, same strings as before. This is an Addy top with VTS. That's going to add to the price, I guess. The back purfling is style 45. The top pearl is the perimeter with fingerboard profile. Rosette style 45. Pickguard material faux tortoise again. Bridge black ebony again. Modern belly style bridge. Bridge inlay island scroll. I'm not sure what that is. We'll take a look at that. Bone bridge pins. Okay, so back and sides is Cocobolo. That's why, I presume. We've got the slotted headstock with square slots. Head plate material is Cocobolo. And the stamp is CF Martin & Co. Tuning machines are golden. Fingerboard materials black ebony. So nothing there that really jumps out at me for knocking the price up apart from the Cocobolo. Is that what's doing it, Spoon? Cocobolo back and sides?
Cocobolo VTS Adirondack top and a slotted headstock and relic tuners and and hide glue, yeah. And the OM42 starts off with premium woods to begin with, so it already starts off with a high sticker price.
Yes, I forgot about that. I always forget that the higher the number means the more premium looking woods, and you pay a premium for that. So
yeah, that looks gorgeous.
Good job, Lee.
Yeah.
All right, Maury, show us your second custom. This looks like a mahogany top guitar of some kind.
This is no stranger to the program. This is a it originated as a 0015, but it's got a deep body. It's got full gloss, which makes it more like a 17. It's long scale, and it's got gold tuners. So this, if you took a 0015M, made it much deeper and full gloss, that's how we arrived at what is basically style 15 or style 17. And then you have the long scale, and it's got you'll hear it more than I'll describe it, but it's got a bassier, more round tone, and it actually it doesn't have as much of that dry. Spoon could put it into better words, but the 15 series, as they are in the standard production where they have almost no finish, has a very snappy, light, airy. They're a little bit lacking some overtones. This loses some of that character too. So it's not just a bassier version of a 15M; it's a bassier, full gloss, deep body version. So there's so much different about this from a 0015. It's almost inconsistent to say this is built from there because so many things were changed along the way, but it's a pretty unique instrument.
Let's take a listen to that one then, if you don't mind. Cool. I don't think I've played an all mahogany guitar like that, but I like the glossy top on that. I like the way the binding looks, and I want to try an all mahogany guitar in the future in the room, see what it sounds like. Did you see the new John Mayer song this week? He just released a new 80s style single, and
I did.
The video is very 80s throwback, and he's got a Soldano amp. He's got a pink Strat or something. Well, obviously his PRS guitar, Silver Sky. But he's also playing an acoustic, and I wondered if he's still playing a Martin. I wonder what his relationship is like with them right now. And it is a Martin. It's like a white OM. Have you seen that, Spoon?
I have not. But before you go ahead with that, I want to say something about this guitar that Maury has, because he said it's like a 17. And for people who are only familiar with modern Martins, he's actually referring to style 17 from 20 years ago, which were basically like a deluxe 15 that had full gloss and have the white purfling around the top and that stuff. And that goes all the way back to the 30s when the 17s were the mahogany topped guitars that Martin made. And they've been through different kinds of finishes. They had a matte finish for a while, and when you get them and then they went to gloss. I don't remember now. Sometime in the 1930s they went to a gloss finish. They continued to make the 0017 and the 0017 all the way up into maybe early 1960s. And then brought them back for a year here and there. And then when they came out with the modern 15s, they came out with the modern 17s. So that's really what we're seeing here. Today's style 17 has nothing to do with those guitars. Those are inspired by the mail order catalogs from like Montgomery Ward and Sears Roebuck. They have spruce tops, very lightly built, very lightly finished, even lighter finish than you get on the 15s. And so because I know there are people watching this right now that were just asking me, about style 17 within the past week or so. So I just want to make that clear that he's talking about a historical style 17.
No, thank you. And I like the look of that guitar as well. I like the mahogany with the gloss, and I like that binding too. Looks really cool. I just thought the John Mayer thing. I think it's the Clapton. Was there a Clapton? Yeah, was there a white Clapton model? OM?
Yes, I call it the white Clapton because I can never remember the Italian name of it. But Maury, do you remember what it was called?
Bianca.
Yeah, Bianca. Yes, they're fantastic. You would love them. in Indian rosewood and Engelmann would be right up your alley. They're
Mm.
beautiful finger
That's why he
starting
likes
cards.
it.
Beautiful.
So what was that called? The Eric Clapton. What was the name of the model?
Bellezza Bianca.
Bellezza Bianca.
And how many of those did they make? I'd never seen one before.
I don't know. It might have been the first modern Martin to have the alternate torch that we just saw in one of those customs that were from the old 0042s from
It
the
looks nice.
early 1900s.
I'm gonna throw a picture up on the stream, and then later on check out his new video, and you can see what I'm talking about. Let me just show this to you here. In fact, sorry, this is the guitar we were just looking at. This one here. That's
Ooh,
the
nice back.
that's the first guitar. This is the second guitar. The back is nice. Yes, that's a very
Yeah,
nice
gorgeous.
looking guitar.
Yeah.
And then let me remove that one and show you later on. If you're at home, check out the new video by John Mayer. He's playing this guitar. It's very, very, very cool. Well, I've zoomed in too much, but
that rosette comes from early mid 1800s, early 1800s. So it's original. It's Martin original.
this one has a pickup
Design.
inside. Did it ship with that pickup, or has that been added by somebody? It's got the Fishman.
I don't think they came with pickups. I don't think any of his customs, artist customs, or whatever
Yeah,
you
I
call
guess
them,
that's
came
been
with
added.
pickups.
All right, I'm going to run through the chat to catch up, and then I'm going to go through our last few customs we've got here. So Roth said, I'm surprised mine was more expensive. Well, we learn things about ourselves when we order guitars, Roth. I don't use a pick, but honestly, the guitar looks strange without it. Yeah, I've heard that before. Some people think a pick guard looks better, and some people think it doesn't. It can be a cosmetic thing as well as a practical.
I wish Martin offered a clear pick guard. I would have used that on a couple of mine.
Or you can get the Elvis Presley leather cover. It really enhances the tone.
That's what you call it.
Come on, it's still the coolest guitar ever made. The Elvis guitar with the leather sleeve. A dealer can...
First Martin made with Madagascar rosewood. In fact.
Oh, that's cool. So you made it with Madagascar and then you covered it with leather. Maury, can a dealer change a config from a 14 to a 12 fret? Yeah, I'm sure, right?
Through the custom shop, yes.
Yeah. Jim says, how about 000 12 fret with Sinker rosewood back and sides with ancient Sitka top? That would be FSC certified for sure. Rosin says hi from Connecticut. Old says, if wood grows right on Italian-Swiss border, what's it called? Italian or Swiss?
Alpine.
Alpine. Oh, Bill, yes, you've just put a knife through my heart. Did Martin discontinue the GPC 28E? I went to their webpage to look it up, the specs, and can't find it. I believe, what do you guys know? I believe they have discontinued the GPCs, right?
Yes.
Well, somebody inside Martin said, don't trust the website right now because because of COVID, it got all, discombobulated and things got put on hold and whatever. Somebody else said they're not making GPCs anytime soon because they're so behind that they're focusing on the most popular models in the standard series right now.
I have to think with people not playing shows, which the GPC-E is obviously geared towards, and I'm pretty sure it's not their most popular model. I'm sure the OM28 and the HD28 is their most popular seller. I'm pretty sure whatever had to go to get more of those out the door would have been the GPC. So I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed because I love that model, but I'm not surprised at all. And is that what you've heard too, Maury?
Yeah, we can speak as a dealer as far as what we can order and what's still coming in production, and we can't order one of those. They're on a list of discontinued guitars.
But you do have a couple in stock, right?
We do. We have one of each. We have one with the Fishman and one with the LR bags.
Yep. So there you go. Like I've said on here before, don't regret not buying what you want while you can buy it. Because I often look around the internet for guitars that I bought and sold and would like to have again, and you just can't get them. So, if you want something, my advice is to get it and enjoy it. Mario, hello from Miami, Florida. Friend of Peter Gregg's. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Nice.
Old says, isn't the Mayer OM Engelmann spruce? Yes, it is. But so is that white OM that he's playing in that new video as well. Robert said, yes, huge sound. That's right. The guitars sound good today. Jim says if I had a 00028, I'd name it Howitzer. Is that a joke?
Howitzer's a make of cannon.
Oh, so he's saying it's a cannon. Steve Smith says hi. Maury is the best. Really? Why? What's he done? Danielle, hi. I remember a Marcy Marxer video with hands inlaid at the 12th fret. Hands. Oh, cool. 12th fret hands inlay. Oh, here we go. Steve Smith says, thanks Maury and Spoon for helping me design my custom HD28. I'm very grateful for both of you. I played the 12 something. So has he got that guitar now? Did Steve order that and receive it?
He hasn't received it yet. It's on order and it's being built.
So you went with the shocking pink body and the and the little fairy wands on the fretboard? Awesome.
Okay, let's clear this up just one more time, just so everyone knows. We've spoken about it a few times. Vic G says, can Spoon and Maury explain the custom shop experts, and is Maury's music one of them? Maury.
I can tell you that we are not, and it's in an effort to streamline the conversation, not to be here too long. The custom shop experts need to meet certain criteria. We meet the criteria as far as dealing with the custom shop and knowing the model line and having the information and the wherewithal to design a custom. We do that, we're on the phone with them and email 6-7 times a week. So that part of it we're okay with. You also need to have a showroom that's open for walk-in customers, which we don't have. We're by appointment when things are, pandemic aside. Our business model is to have a showroom that's open by appointment, and that flies in. You can't be a custom shop expert with that. You also have to order a certain amount of custom shop and authentic instruments and keep them in stock. And for better or worse, we don't do well with the authentics. They're slow movers for us. So we couldn't justify ordering a lot more authentic instruments, and we certainly couldn't justify opening our appointment only up to walk-in traffic, and we don't have a big enough showroom until we move into our new building. That wouldn't be big enough for us to want to do that. So we really have a couple things that have us hamstrung, so we couldn't take part in that. We are not part of the custom shop expert dealer. I'll let Spoon make some commentary on what those dealers can and can't do. You still can order a custom shop through us, and there are a couple things that we can't get on a guitar that a custom shop expert could. Maybe Spoon wants to pipe in there.
Yeah, I actually have just submitted the article that's going to be in the Martin Journal about this program. And so I had lengthy conversations with Fred Green and Scott Sasser and stuff. My personal opinion is this is primarily aimed at rewarding dealers who have large shops that are full of Taylors and Gibsons and Paul Reed Smiths and D'Angelicos and lots of fancy guitars that are going to have a Martin pavilion with big lights, and it's a way for them to compete directly with with Taylor and Gibson's custom shops, so that when people come in, they'll see the stuff at this place, and then they'll come over and see the Martin stuff, and that's the marketing idea behind it. So a lot of the mom and pop shops and with Maury, basically with Maury and Laurie and Andrew, they're focused, in my opinion, on dealing with customers that they get to know, and not a bunch of teenagers and tourists from Japan and places like that coming in and basically being in a mega store. So it's designed for those kind of dealers, and which is, that's how they want to do it. They as I understand it, they see themselves as having different kinds of dealers, and I believe they're going to start providing certain perks to different kinds of dealers that are different than the perks they're offering to other dealers. Right now, the custom shop dealers are going to get those 2 new models that were made specifically for them. So that's the kind of thing we're going to see, and they'll have they will have a special opportunity for very high-end, high-priced things. And I don't even know what they are, and I don't think they do either because it's a new program for them. So I think they're still exploring what it's going to be.
What is this? Is this like you walk into a showroom and they have the guitars there for sale, or you walk into the showroom and you order a guitar through them?
It's both, because
Both.
you do have dealers. You do have dealers like Wilcott down in Kentucky that have 24 custom Martins that they design themselves with really wild wood and stuff like that, and that's like a niche market. For they aim for people with really deep pockets and who are guitar collectors. Basically, is kind of the kind of people they're aiming at.
Okay, so just to clarify, Maury doesn't do the showroom, the walk-in showroom, so he's not doing that. But you can order a custom Martin through Maury's Music. That's the short answer, right? Okay, thank you, Vic. I hope that clarifies it. Old says, another beauty. Aaron's viewers have awesome taste. I'm learning a lot about you guys and girls from this so far. I'm waiting to see a Dread on this. No Dreadnought fans in this chat. The OMC 18 that Spoon always wanted Martin to make. Oh, Cookie's here. Salut. Can you get Brazilian in the custom shop? You can if you want to spend 20. Was it you said last week 20K, right?
I think it's 25.
Is that right, Maury?
I think.
Start, yeah.
25K if you want a Brazilian.
That's just for the back and sides and the head plate.
Should have bought that 15
that doesn't
grand.
give you a built guitar. That's the now you get to play with that wood. What do you want to put on it? That's the entry fee.
Maury, do you remember all I do on this channel is talk about my regrets, but like 3 years, and of course I must just premise this by saying that this is all what if, you never know. You should never buy something to sell it and make it. You never know this stuff. But about 3 years ago, they made and Kookie will remember this. I went to see it, a D28 Brazilian. It was about 15K. And now you're telling me to get that guitar through the custom shop would be 25K to start with. So just in 3 years, the price of the wood has gone up. Am I right? It's gone up that much?
Oh yeah,
Well,
it's probably gone up since you started talking about it 5 minutes ago.
But that's not what it is. It is that Martin has a limited
It's
amount
30K
of this
though.
stuff. Martin has a limited amount of Brazilian rosewood that is certifiable back to its source as being legal CITES approved wood.
Yeah.
And Chris Martin doesn't want to give it to people for custom Martins. He wants to save it for special models. But then they hear from certain people, like somebody like Jim Irsay, the guitar collector who owns the Indianapolis Colts. If he calls him up and says, I want a custom Martin, I want Brazilian, what's your price? And so Chris said, okay, this is the price. So it's really, I think it's done on purpose to stop people from ordering custom Martins with Brazilian rosewood because he wants to use them for limited editions. That's my personal assessment.
So are we saying that Brazilian's about to just like completely run out? Is that what we're saying?
Really kind of already has. There's still people out there that you can buy Brazilian sets from wood dealers. Most guitar makers won't let you buy your own set because if they crack it while you're making it, they're not going to reimburse you for it. So that's why Martin never lets anybody bring their own wood to them. The real market for Brazilian is people getting old Martins from the 60s and 50s with heavy bracing and having them retopped. That's really something that, and your ethics, it could be your ethics. Some people say, you shouldn't ruin that old guitar. But the person who's going to love that for a lifetime, that's, it's really up to them, and in my opinion. And I have a guitar just like that had been virtually destroyed except for the back and side. So I had it rebuilt by two guys that had retired from the Martin factory. It's spectacular.
Wow.
It is.
So
I've played it.
Cookie says short scale is easier to sing over. Is that because it's like Spoon was saying, doesn't project as much, so it doesn't fight with the voice as much volume wise? Is that what he's saying?
I don't know. Maybe Cookie has a very quiet voice.
Yes, he does. Chris Hull says, great band name, the Enlarged Sound Holes.
Good job, Chris.
Always had expensive tastes. Lee does have expensive tastes. Just ask his wife. Ricardo says, can you get Brazilian in the custom shop? Did we just answer that?
Yep.
Yeah, 25K. Don't quote us on that. I guess things change whatever. Call your dealer. Chris Hull, it's a Jeff Tweedy on steroids.
Is he talking about Maury's mahogany guitar?
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah.
Clapton's White Beauty. That's a cool guitar. I like that. Roslyn, Tony Policastro has a Tuxedo Martin made of bird's eye maple. Nice but pricey. I think it's an OM. Yeah, I've seen that one. Small bodies are very popular today, but everyone talks about the Dreadnought. Yeah, exactly. Everyone talks about Dreadnoughts, and I guess we're split. We definitely have some viewers that love Dreads and won't play anything else. I've got a few people who come to mind. From what I can see here, most people watching this show that play fingerstyle definitely go for the smaller body guitars. And then a few people that strum often... There's a lot of stereotypes here in this chat. I can see them. But so far, it's all been OM. So I want to see what the rest are like. If Becca does an OM, then that's it. No more Dreadnoughts ever again.
And I'm curious, these people that are doing these customs, is this custom guitar their third guitar and they already have the Dreadnought?
Right. Yes, if you've made a custom, tell us in the chat. Have you made this custom because you already own another guitar, and is your other guitar a Dreadnought? This is like market research here. This is interesting. Bill says, I'm glad I got my GPC 28E. Yeah, I just hope they don't stop making that model altogether. If they're going to stop making it altogether, I better get one. Because, like, I don't know. I can see why... I mean, then again, the gigs are starting to come back. I don't see why they wouldn't make it anymore. Unless they're just so slammed there, they just have to make the D18s and the OM28s.
They are slammed. They
all
really
I can,
are.
that's all I can
Yeah, that is really what's going on. And Martin often brings things back.
Yeah.
The 0015SM was not available for a while, and then it came back.
They're actually bringing back a retro, an HD28 retro Aaron Short model, and some are now.
I told you to say that.
Yeah. I had a D18 with Tree of Life. Oh, we did one, right? Steve, Maury has my custom order sheet. Feel free to share it on the show. Maury, if you still have it, I can't find my... we haven't got it, Steve, but... What I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to allow Maury to show it before he sends it to you, even if he pre-records a little video for us. That would be cool. Old says people are converting old Martin 0028C classicals with Brazilian to steel string guitars. That's interesting.
Oh.
Becca Jones never had much trouble singing over a long scale, but Becca, you sing like this. That's why. You have a loud voice. Lots of projection in that voice. And we love it. Lee says, I would have gone for a Dread custom, but I have a D42. There we go. Okay, it's making more sense. No Dreadnoughts for Roeth, though. I sold all the ones I have. And Roslyn, yes, I have a D28, the custom to Dream guitars. Okay, so a lot of people's Dream guitars are their second guitars. That's good. That clears it up. Let's jump back over there and just go through the remaining ones that we have left then. So, viewers' comments. This one here. So we just did Lee, and here's Rosanna. Another OM, what can we say?
Gorgeously. Ah, look at that, another, yeah.
OM42, right-handed. Is this the same as Lee's?
Except...
Addy Spruce, what's the difference? It's more money.
Addy Spruce, and what? Back inside your Sinker Mahogany.
Ah, there we go. I can't believe the amount of Sinker Mahogany guitars on here today. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, Addy top, no electronics, no cutaway, right-handed, OM42, and the Shala Nickel Grand Tunes. She hasn't been listening to me. Fingerboard material, black ebony, fingerboard inlay, style 45 snowflake, top color, aging toner, no strap button, and no label. It's a fine-looking guitar. Thank you, Rosanna.
Beautiful,
but yeah, very similar to Lee's, which doesn't surprise me, of course. Next we have...
No, somebody just wrote me asking, did Martin make any mahogany guitars with lots of pearl on them? And I said, not that I could remember. So he said, I may have to call Maury. So don't be surprised if you get a pearly mahogany order one of these days.
Pearly mahogany. This is from Marco. Hi, Marco. So this looks interesting. Just from the picture alone, it looks different. So we got 14 fret. Another small body, though. 0028. Modern adhesive glue. Strings are the same, of course. The top is Sitka Spruce BTS.
Ooh.
X-braced. Style 28 maple fiber. I can see the fingerboard is different just from looking at it. Let me see here. We've got Back and sides, highly flamed koa. So I'll get Spoon to tell us what he thinks about the highly flamed koa as a choice of wood. The head plate material is figured English walnut. So this is very different in design to the other ones. Goto gold tuners. Fingerboard is East Indian rosewood. So this fingerboard is rosewood, which we spoke about last week being on the Gibsons. I hadn't really seen that on the Martin.
But he's keeping the ebony bridge, though. That's interesting.
Ebony bridge, yeah. Fingerboard inlay is style 45 snowflake. Top color is a 1935 sunburst. So that's why it looks so different as well. The sunburst top, the neck wood. A gold strap button, even though there's no electronics, right? That's interesting. Case is the molded hard shell, and it's got the signature inside. So this is quite different. Same body shape and glue, but different wood choice. So what do you think of these wood choices, Spoon?
I think, well, it's a gorgeous guitar, and I think the keeping the dark bridge to go with the sunburst was an inspired choice. And yeah, I mean, koa is its own thing. It's got its own voice. It's just got such really angelic harmonic overtones. It's got a different kind of subtle complexity to the harmonic overtones that are ethereal, and the older it gets, the more glorious it sounds. And it's always, I wish we could turn these guitars around and see the backs, but yeah, koa is just such a beautiful wood. And a lot of people, always say, oh, it sounds like somewhere in between mahogany and rosewood. They say that about, about walnut too, and both of those woods truly have their own identity. And this will be a beautiful fingerstyle guitar.
All right, we got two more here, so we just go back here. The last one will be Maury's. We'll let him tell us about that. Becca, thank you, Becca. There we go, our first Dreadnought. Thank you.
Yeah.
Woo!
$8,000. I'm not sure who has the most expensive one. I shall look.
Three-piece back. Oh, it was Lee, certainly.
So this is a D35 style, modern adhesive, Fishman Aura VT enhanced. That's interesting because she plays the K&K. Oh, speaking of which, I just want to give myself a quick plug. Before we went live, I posted my review and demo of the Sun Audio preamp. It's a great preamp. Please watch the video. It's also interesting for acoustic guitarists because there's timestamps, and you can listen between the K&K, the Trance that Maury installed, the Bags Anthem, which is one of my favorite pickups of all time, and also the Dazzo pickup. So, and there's not many videos about the Dazzo. I'll have another one coming, but from that video, as well as learning about the preamp, which is great, you can also listen to those 4 pickups back to back, and it's really interesting. So let me know in the chat, in the comment of that video, what you think of those pickups, because they'll be useful for me in the future. But I found that very interesting. But I will say this: if you play a K&K, in my experience, it kind of needs a preamp because it kind of depends what you plug it into. So I don't know if Spoon agrees with that, but for me, the K&K is a great idea to carry a preamp around, and that's probably my favorite one that I've ever played. So if you use a K&K like Becca does, and you haven't got a preamp already, I really recommend that. And that video went up on my channel this afternoon, so check it out, give it a like, and put a nice comment in there for me. Anyway, back to that guitar again. Yes, our first Dreadnought, and it's a Sunburst as well, which is great. So she's got the Aura VT Enhance in there. That is a good system. I do like that pickup quite a lot. And it's Fishman, and Fishman are a good company. I'm just interested to see what happens at Summer NAMM. I keep talking about it, but I mean, just to say, I just watched, before we went live, I was watching the Apple keynote, and it was their most kind of toned down announcement they've ever done. Of course it is, because we've just been through a pandemic. I'm not expecting them to release a new hardware and all these amazing new features because we've all been locked down. But I wonder how that will affect Summer NAMM. And like I said at the start of the show, I'm planning to go, and I'll definitely report back. Perhaps while I'm there, we can even do a live stream together and discuss any releases that come out. But I just don't know what to think, because a lot of the things that were announced in January are not even here yet, right, Maury? Like the Earth guitar isn't even here yet. So I'm thinking, well, why didn't they just keep that for Summer NAMM and then ship it when they announced it? But I guess some companies obviously just need to announce stuff because other companies are announcing stuff and stuff like that. But it's definitely a weird one. I'm glad they're doing the show, and I can't wait to see what they've got. I definitely want to go down there and hang out and see what they're doing. And maybe do some videos with people like Robert and get some scoops down there. But it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. But what do you think, before we finish with Maury's guitar, his custom guitar, which I thought would be just his OM guitar. I thought he would just redesign his own guitar for his custom shop, and he didn't. So thank you, Maury. What do you guys think about the guitar that Becca designed here? What's the top and back and sides here? Oh, it's East Indian Rosewood, Sinker Mahogany Wedge.
Adirondack VTS.
Yes, Addy top.
And a center wedge of Sinker Mahogany.
So what does that do?
So it's got a 3-piece back. Well, it's going to make it look gorgeous.
It's a D35. Yeah, we can't see the back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to look really cool. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about D35s much lately. What do you think about the D35 spoon? Are you a fan?
So it looks like she's keeping yeah, I guess we weren't allowed to change the bracing, were we? So she's got the normal 35. I've always preferred the sound of 28s myself. I know I have friends who love the 35 sound. I think 35s have thinner treble notes. They're much more precise spider webby compared to I think the 28 notes are a little fatter. But what you do get is you get that round, almost Christmas ball bass from those quarter-inch braces, and so I think people like that sound of having your own built-in bass player. That's kind of what it sounds like to some people, that particular thump that you get from 35s, and particularly HD 35s with the scallop bracing on it makes it even more bassy.
She said she went for looks. I wanted it to look cool. And that's an interesting choice what you did there, because from the front it looks like some kind of 28, but then like you said on the back it's a 35.
But it's got pearl hexes on it's got like Star 41 hexes on.
It's like a D41 to me. Sunburst.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
I love those hexes.
Yeah. That is very cool. Thank you, Becca. And I know you play what does she play? A D28 already? Was it HD28 or D28 Becca has? I can't think.
She has a D42.
No, D41. D41, isn't it? D42?
D42.
Oh, okay.
I thought so.
Yeah, you're right. So that's an interesting choice. Becca, why did you go for the VT enhanced pickup when you play a K&K? Because I feel like most K&K players just stick with the K, are very loyal to the K&K. So why did you choose the Fishman or a VT enhanced? Although, like I said earlier, it's kind of cool they'll send that to Fishman and have custom images. I do like that idea. I think that's a cool thing. All right, are you ready? Last but not least, our final custom design. Is from Maury. I thought he wasn't going to do one. I didn't have one, and then he sent it last minute. So I thought, okay, I bet he's just redesigned his own guitar, his OM28 again. But no, in fact, he didn't. So I'll let you do this one, Maury. Can you tell us what you did and why?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was doing. I was doing it last night on my porch, out on the deck with my phone, but I wasn't able to do it on iOS. I tried 4 different times. I restarted my phone. I restarted Safari. I wasn't able to use this on the iOS app. So that's why it wasn't on time. But I've been really trying to pay attention, especially the past couple of weeks, knowing this program was coming. What would I do if I wasn't going to buy my own guitar again? Because why do that? And I really did wrestle with the fact that, if I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be sure that I'd be comfortable with a Dreadnought, because of all these years I would have bought a Dreadnought by now if I really felt comfortable doing it. But I've loved this M36 that we have in stock. We have a couple of them, and I've been playing one specific one for a few days now after work. I've always loved the 42 styling, and I remember, and Spoon might, his memory might be as good as mine, we had a really cool run of custom OM28Vs maybe more than 10 years ago. We did maybe 10 of them, 5 or 6 were Cocobolo, but one was Waterfall Babinga, and it was amazing. So that's where I came up with the center wedge on this M36 design.
Yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous.
To be a little bit different. And I honestly did that on looks, because I don't remember really falling in love with the Babinga, and I don't necessarily subscribe to the thinking that the center wedge on a 3-piece back is going to do all that much. It's going to impact tone, but it's not going to be like a full set of East Indian rosewood or a regular D28 design. So I kind of went with looks on the back of this, looks on the pearl inlay for sure, and I really do think, specifications wise, this might be something different enough for mine. Gives me a little bit more bass than my ohm 28, but it's not going to be a D28 or an HD. And the only thing I'm really second guessing, and I don't want to be the only one in this program, but I'm with a voice and a microphone to give you a submission and change it at the end, I might actually consider that build in short scale, but probably not. But that's the one thing after I hit submit, I thought, should it be long scale or short scale? Because I've got my perfect OM is already mine, so it doesn't have to really mimic that too much. So that's the only spec that I would waffle on, is short scale, long scale.
Fascinating. Short scale M. I looked into doing that too once upon a time and didn't do it, and thinking, well, maybe the top's too big, even with quarter-inch bracing. And other people, through other builders, through like independent small builders, have in fact had guitars that big made with short scale, and they were perfectly fine. So Maury had a run of guitars, again going a good ways back now, that was basically a short scale version of the OM35 back when there was an OM35. And I know that people who have those really love those. So I think short scale with 3-piece back, really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, Reese likes his a lot, Reese Ord.
I like that. I like this design. I like the idea of the M36. I'm not really a fan of the tuners or the binding. And it looks like this one has vintage tuners and no binding, right? So I like the look of this one. And it's got the rosette that I like too, I think. Is that the abalone rosette? Yeah, so I actually think this is cool. I think you should make some of these for real, Maury.
Now, did you keep? It has an ebony bridge, yes, or has it got the rosewood bridge?
I like it.
Ebony bridge and fingerboard, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't do a higher kind of, a fancier back and sides or top. Why was that? Why didn't you go for Addy top, things like that?
I just think my preference has been Sitka.
Yeah, and he went with the VTS. So that's if the real top looks anything like the one in the picture, that's a gorgeous piece of spruce that they have on there.
Yeah, right.
Has anyone ever done an M36C with a cutaway?
Kind of. Again, I can't think of his name right now. There was a Martin signature model for a fingerstyle player who's from New York City, who's I last saw him at the Dick Bark retirement show. Oh, I can't believe his name's not coming to me today.
Is it Jacques Stolzen?
No, he's in Europe. It's heavens to Betsy, but he had a cutaway M. He has a cutaway M signature model, and so did. I thought there was a second one as well, but I can't believe he was one of Reverend Gary Davis's proteges. Like, used to carry Gary Davis's guitar around, and I just can't believe I can't think of his name. He has a guitar camp. He's married to an English woman. Does anybody listening to me know who I'm talking about? Look at the chat.
Not Yorma.
No, it's not Yorma. Oh, come for heaven's sakes.
Oh, Kaufman. Kaufman?
No.
Right.
As soon as I say it, you're like, oh yeah, but it was mahogany, MC mahogany.
Chris Hull says MC38. There we go. MC38 Steve Howe.
Oh, there was Steve Howe too. Yeah, he had one too. That's right. He was the first one, actually.
It's got a weird sound hole, like an oval sound hole. Never seen that before. That's because the original Martin cutaway was deeper and had a 22 fret neck. So it was really like designed for electric guitarists. And then the bean counter, who fortunately is finally retired, one day said, wait a second, you mean we have to hand cut these fingerboards for these guitars? Let's get rid of that. And I want a round sound hole, and they had to make the normal, cutaway they have now. I do have a triple of C16. It's got the old deep cutaway. What is his name? An M with a cutaway
Fucking-
for me would make more sense than like a GPC, like if Martin made a stage guitar which was an M with a cutaway. I don't know why they didn't pursue that. Anyway, I'm going to go through the final chat and then we're going to wrap things up. Jack says, I wanted to soup up my 0018V like that's possible. Yeah, Spoon has the book. We all need to buy these books and then we'll know what we're talking about. Rowan says, Jack Wickwire, I've been seriously eyeing a 0018V. Seems close to my ideal guitar. I assume you really like it. Jack says, yes, I really, really love it. Old says, Maury, do customs with 1 or 2 changes speed up the wait time? I don't think so. Do they, Maury?
That's not that big of a deal. It's really, if you stay away from full pearl, that's, pearl and sunbursts are going to make things slower. But to a point, you'll see. Yeah, I would say yes. It's not a drastic difference, but yes.
So if Spoon ordered a 42 full pearl guitar, and at the same time or a week later I ordered a standard guitar with no pearl, are you saying that my guitar would come before his, even though I ordered it later, because his is going to take longer to make? They don't make them in order of order.
Well,
Pearl takes a long time to do the work.
But they don't make they won't make Spoon's guitar and then make mine. They just start them off, and then it takes as long as it takes. Yeah. Okay, that's
you
good to know.
golfers out there would liken it to a shotgun start. Yeah.
All right. Old says, I love the dark headstock with light sunburst body. Yes, I like that too. Lee says, Rosanna's guitar was $17 more than his. Jack says, interesting bridge choice on the Dread. Yeah. Old says, don't forget to hit the like button. That's the most important thing anyone said today. Thank you. Marco says, Becca, we have same taste for 35 Sunburst. Yes, you do. Roeth says, fascinating choices. And Becca says, I wanted it to look good. That's always the most important reason to buy a guitar, to look cool. She has a D42. You're right, Maury. Nice guitar. Not bad. Not too shabby. I just picked the most expensive option. Well, no comment on that. Lee says you can't beat a D42. Lee, you can beat a D42, but then you'll get in trouble from the owner. Oh, quick.
Ooh.
Becca Jones, I've got the cutout. Thanks again. Stay well. Becca, thank you for sending in your design. Really appreciate it, and all the best to you. Old says, Spoon, did Martin ever make a Quad O 18 or an M18?
Yes, the M18 was one of the original. They first made the M38 was the first one, and then they made the M36. But the M18 came out almost around the same time. I know. If you remember the show in Washington, D.C., one of those huge fundraising concerts where Bob Dylan plays with Keith Richards and Ron Wood, I think Ron Wood's playing an M18 at that show. That belonged to Bob Jones here in New York.
Dr. McFarland is here. He's thanks for making the theme for us.
Witty man.
Don't believe he owns a Martin yet, though, so... Come back when you got a Martin. Jim says,
I got the name. I got the name. It's the Woody Man custom artist edition.
Really?
Woody Man was a mahogany M with a cutaway.
I would not have guessed that.
Jim says, is it Stefan Grossman Spoon? Stefan Grossman.
No, Stefan's doesn't have a. Stefan's is a jumbo for one thing, and it doesn't have a cutaway.
Rosanna says, my actual dream guitar is the D True Love.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go play that later.
Just to rub it in. Rosanna, I like the arts and crafts. Cool. Well, I mean, that was... I just want to say thank you, Spoon, for joining us today, and thank you, Maury. That was quite an undertaking there. I want to say thanks to everyone that sent in their designs, because I had a great... I always ask for viewers' comments and material for the show, and you certainly delivered there. We had like 8 of them. Who did we say was the winner of the champagne tastes?
pretty sure it was Lee. This was over $12,000, wasn't it?
Let me just check here. Lee's was $12,000. So, Rosanna, you better start saving up for his birthday. That's all I can say about that. No, it was
I think if he buys her the true love, he's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Look, it's all in fun, but I think I can't believe we haven't done it before. We've actually had a chat with the custom shop on this show, and it was great. Remember that, Maury? It feels like a lifetime ago. That was a great episode. That was a great episode, and And I can't believe we hadn't done that before, gone on the website and designed some guitars. It was certainly a lot of fun. I do hope that Martin make it even better in the future. I'd love to see the ability to spin the guitar around, maybe even hear the guitar somehow. I don't know if that'd be possible. It'd be real futuristic stuff, but hopefully that'll all come in the future. If they make any updates, then we'll update you on the show. Before we go, Spoon, thank you. Where can people find out more about you?
You can find out more about me in the FBI's Most Wanted list or at my website, onemans.com. One Man's with a Z, or my guitar site is TSP Guitar, tspguitar.com.
Awesome. And Maury, what have you been to the? I haven't asked you lately. You been to the factory lately? Got any new guitars coming up on your live streams?
I haven't been to the factory in 5 hours.
Oh, you went today. Did you pick anything new up that you'll be showing this week?
We did. I brought back, I think, seven guitars and some accessories. So, yeah, Wednesday is virtual tour. At 4 p.m., we'll have some new blood. Ooh, yeah.
Okay. And Lee is talking about his wife wanting Chanel guitars. I don't think they Louis Vuitton guitars. I don't think they make those yet. All right, excellent. So thank you so much, guys. I'm really glad we did this kind of follow up to last week. If you didn't see last week's show, then go back and watch it because it was very informative. Designing a guitar with Spoon. And I learned a lot from doing that. So check it out. And if you're interested in getting a custom guitar, like we said, if you're in USA, give Maury a call and he can guide you through the process because he's done it many, many times before. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Do me a favor, go and check my video that I posted today. I'd really appreciate it if you watch that and leave your comments on those pickups I used today for today's video. And we'll see you again next week, right? So enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you soon.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you, Spoon. Thank you, Maury. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.